What's up, guys? Your boy the May Boom, and I am back for another video. And man, top 10 people that Vince McMahon nowadays would not push. They are going to get buried if Vince was still in the WWE. But we all know Vince is out of WWE, so let's get into the video. Who are the people that Vince would not push like to the top of the mountain? So there ain't gonna be no ranking of it like the best to worst. It's just I'm just gonna be saying people that I feel Vince would not have put them at their full potential. So first of all, we're just gonna start off with number one. We're gonna start it off with Gunther, man. Gunther has been the United States champion for like 2 years now, and he's been like successful. He really doesn't lose ever. I really only see him lose like one time. He doesn't lose, and his matches are good, even though his promos are a little bit, generic, a little boring. But he still, even he could talk to sometimes. He can wrestle. He's show like he's that guy. And Vince, if Vince was still around, I'm afraid he will fall under that. Like, he did lose a lot of weight, but he still has like that flabby look. He doesn't have the physique that all Brock Lesnar, The Rock, Triple H they had. So that and him, he's not even that big. They try to present him as like a bigger guy, but he's not even that big. So I feel like Vince would have made him like the big scary guy first. Then he would have lost. Then he would have became a big silly guy, and then released. That would have been the outcome for him, and it's sad. I think that would have been the outcome. When I seen he lost at the Survivor Series 2019, he was like the first person to get eliminated. I was like, wow, that is so messed up. And he was bigger back then too. Like he actually kind of looked he was bigger, so he kind of looked scarier. But yeah, I was just shocked that they did him like that. I was like, dang, the guy that we've been seeing nowadays is like the toughest guy. Back in 2019, Vince did not care, and he got him eliminated so fast that was over. So I just think that's funny that that ended up happening with Gunther, but he's successful now. Lucky Vince ain't around, and yeah, let's go on to the next person. Let's talk about Austin Theory, man. Austin Theory, people gonna be like, what? But Vince, he was pushing him to the top. He was making him the guy, but he made a big mistake. He gave him the money in the bank when Roman Reigns was the champion. I'm sorry, Seth Rollins wasn't around yet, so don't be thinking that Seth Rollins was not around yet with the world title. That wasn't around yet. But when Roman Reigns was the champion, he was not gonna win that thing. He was not gonna win that thing. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. So we would have had another like failed cash in. He had a failed cash in anyways. Triple H did a bad job too. But I think that Austin Theory would have ended up losing. Like at least I'll say this about Vince, he would have did it better than Triple H probably. He would have had him cash in on Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns gonna beat him now. I'm sorry, Roman Reigns is still beating him. It was just a tough, like you put him as the Money in the Bank person at the wrong time. Roman Reigns was not losing that belt, and basically he's gonna end up at the same exact place he's at right now, just a mid Carter guy, and then he's gonna fight John Cena, beat him, and it's the same exact outcome, and nothing changes to me. I think he's been on this course for a long time, and him losing the Money in the Bank was just gonna happen anyways. He wasn't beating Roman Reigns, so yes, I'm sorry. Austin Theory is gonna get buried. Also, he's gonna get buried. Maybe he might even be worse once he loses the cash, and maybe Vince just gives up on him, and he goes even lower than what he is right now. So yeah, Austin Theory's on that list too. So let's go on to the next person, man. The Judgment Day. The Judgment Day, man. When Vince was around, the Judgment Day, the version that they had on screen was so bad. I did not care what they had to talk about. I did not care. They were not threatening at all. Even Edge couldn't save this character. I hated Edge in that group. The theme song did not fit Edge, but it fits them now. I'm happy they got rid of Edge, and you know, for now it was the Judgment Day's theme, and they actually gave everybody like kind of personality and stuff. They wasn't just random people put together. They actually became like a family, and now they're like the greatest. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley. They doing that thing now. But if it was Vince doing this, I'm sorry. I think they would have been split up a long time ago. I feel like Vince, that Finn Balor NXT again. Damian Priest, nobody. Rhea Ripley would have been fine. I think she's the one that would have been fine, but yeah, just she probably would have been okay. And Dominic Mysterio, I don't think that ever happens, honestly. I don't think he ever joins the Judgment Day. I think it's just gonna be Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley, and then the group just breaks up eventually. It just doesn't work and when Vince is around. So yeah, I yeah, that group would have just bombed, man. It was already bombing when Edge was in the group and stuff. It wouldn't have worked. I'm sad that ended up happening, but yeah, at least Triple H came and fixed up the group. Now they're like the biggest group. Now the stuff they're doing with R-Truth is amazing and it's fun. It's fun. And they up there with the top groups. They're successful. They win tag belts. They got the women's belt. Dominic really should be like world champion by this point, but you know, now they kind of forcing him out of that like main event scene because he really is already like that great, but you know, they don't want to do nothing with him. They kind of let him lose his fire, but it's all right though. He's still one of the best ones. So let's move on to the next person, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, man. This one is maybe controversial, but maybe at WrestleMania 39, Vince would have just had Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns. I might say that. He might have Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns. He might have had him beat him, but I'm sorry. It's probably not likely. Like the same way Triple H seen all this stuff coming up, like the Rock match and the long reigning stuff, all that long reigning stuff. I think Vince would have did the same exact thing, all keeping the belt on him longer and him just sitting around with the belt, not doing anything. More matches with Brock Lesnar. Oh God, more matches with Brock Lesnar, and that will be the end of it. I Cody Rhodes, man, I think he just would have lost it, man. I'm sorry. Then this year, this is where I think really like I think that decision, the Rock, all that Rock stuff, the Rock coming into, I think we would have just got the Rock versus Roman Reigns. The Rock versus Roman Reigns would have happened, and Cody Rhodes would be out of it again. And eventually, I think Vince would have gave him his championship because Vince was having Cody. He had Cody Rhodes like as a top guy, but like he was just what we seen from Vince and Cody Rhodes. It was just as perfect as what like Vince and Triple H and Cody Rhodes was. Maybe even better than what Triple H is doing right now. But it seemed like Cody Rhodes on a good course, so I'll give Vince that. He would have eventually won the championship that he wanted, but yeah, he's not these years, I think it would have been The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns would have beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, but I think that's the outcome. And number one, man, number one. I know I said it wasn't ranking, but it basically went that way. Number one is LA Knight, man. LA Knight is my number one. This guy just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. I was like, what the? This is not happening. LA Knight is here, and he's just proved. I was like, who's this generic, boring guy? He just looks like everybody else. And then he pulled up and like was like, no, I'm not the same. He kind of acts like the Rock, Stone Cold, but I don't care. It's still entertaining. It's fun, and he's like one of the best characters on the show. He had his other character before this, Max Dupree or whatever, and eventually, if you let him down that road, we see what happened to the other members of the group. They got fired. So I think if he would have stayed with that character, I think he would have been fired out of WWE. He would have been gone. Sadly, that is not good. And it just shows like, man, Vince is wrong a lot of the time, bro. A lot of the time. That if he would have been gone and we never got this LA Knight run, that's just so disappointing. This guy is like one of the best things like on wrestling. Whenever he comes out, the crowd gets hyped because it's fun. Like his character, the LA Knight stuff is just really fun, and it just sucks to think about that. It's like, man, if Vince was still around, this would not have happened. So yes, LA Knight's my number one. Tell me if you disagree. Do you feel like some of these guys would have succeeded even with Vince being there, or do you feel like I'm right? Do you feel like these guys would have all flopped? But peace out, y'all. Anime Boom out. Peace.